This week we are speaking with Susan and Melissa from Mystic Dragon Cosplay, Clothing and Accessories.
Done for good, no compromise. It's just a state of mind.
They were expecting something. We amped that up a little bit more. And on that,
it's all fun.
and we're all out of time for tonight.
And now goodbye.
That's it. That's the show. Thanks everyone for being here.
All right, let's get to it. Thank you, Susan and Melissa, both for being here tonight. This is the first time we've met, and I'm super excited to talk to you guys because the cosplay world is something that I've kind of dipped my toe into. My buddy Robert and I went and checked out anime, and we had a great time, and got some of my favorite photos actually of the people outside, you know, doing their thing with all their elaborate designs that they've created. And I've always wanted to talk to somebody about the process and all of the things that you would do going into this world. So I know Aurora's a little bit more tuned into that environment. So Aurora, why don't I start with you and just say hello for the week and see what you have to say.
Hi. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to get into this conversation. Last week this past week I had a few days off, so it was nice just relaxation time, and went out to a nice dinner with Andrew to celebrate our anniversary. So it was quite good. It was the first time in a long time we'd actually gone out for dinner, like 2 years.
It is such a weird feeling, isn't it? Being
in a
restaurant
it felt kind of strange being in a restaurant, like having a dinner after all this time, but it was quite good. The food was delicious, and I had some nice rest and relaxation. I'm really excited to get talking to Susan and Melissa about this because I love cosplay. I love people who can actually design and create things with fabric and fashion. Like I've dabbled a bit into it, but I'm not super experienced when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's always like quick kind of fixes and faking my way through to make something that turns out kind of nice. So yeah, I love to.
At least you tried it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
it's intimidating.
Yeah, it can be. It definitely can be, especially if you don't really know how to sew or do any of the creative bits of it. You kind of just have to learn on the fly if you're trying to make a costume. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to get in this conversation today.
Cool. And happy anniversary, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, happy anniversary. 12 years?
Yeah.
It was 12. Yeah, perfect.
12 years.
Very cool.
That makes you... I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm like, wow, I'm far behind for catch-up there. I'm only one.
Yeah. Well, they were high school sweethearts. I think she was 14 when they got together, so she's 20.
Yes.
Not quite. 16. Yeah. But still.
So close. Well, Mark, how have you been, man?
I've been doing really well. I'm excited. I'm made the plunge and I'm coming out of retirement, so I'll be back at work next Monday. So
you're my idol.
I know it was my free trial of retirement, and it's just kind of the last few days have been really tough. I've been stuck at home. I've been without a car, so it's been fun. Chris broke hers, so she's had mine while she's been running around helping the community. So I've been just doing things at home, but I've been getting projects done and new surround sound in the TV room and stuff. So Jurassic Park did the big Jurassic Park marathon on the weekend, so that was good.
Yep. You and I are Klipsch brothers now.
Yep, that's it. I have all kinds of different speakers, but yeah, I'm super excited tonight. I know a lot of people that actually make their own costumes and do cosplay. And for the number of people that I know, I've never actually had a conversation about it with anybody. And I've, for whatever reason, have very few pictures of anybody doing cosplay. So this is, as a photographer, that's a little depressing for my part. Maybe I shouldn't have come back out of retirement. So
retire and shoot cosplay for professionally. That's what you got to do.
See, I missed it. That's it. Where's that email? No, I'm kidding. I'm excited. I'm excited to start back to work and have a reason to get up out of bed in the morning other than make my wife's tea before she leaves.
Well, congratulations to you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Big news for everybody. And how about you two, Susan and Melissa? How have you been? What are you up to these days? What's the latest and greatest in your world aside from the cosplay? We'll get to that in a minute.
That is literally our highlight, though. I work in a childcare setting. It's very busy, very chaotic. Regulations change like crazy all the time. So Melissa and I only live 8 minutes apart, and this is what we do. This is our downtime. This is every other day if we can do it. And yeah.
It's awesome.
This is your mental health, I'm sure.
Yeah,
It is.
it helps
Yeah.
a lot. I work in a retirement home as a cook and housekeeping. So it has been stressful this week because a lot of the rules have changed, a lot of different protocols, different gear you have to wear. So you're coming home with headaches. So turning around and getting to do something that makes you passionate kind of helps you get out of that lump of like headaches and stress and unwinding.
There's so much to say about that, and it's so hard to say anything about that. You know, it's just that you have to go through that. It's just awful. I mean, when you took the job, there was no comprehension of this world that we entered into. There was no, I mean, I always heard about pandemics potentially happening, and everybody's like, oh, it's never going to happen, or it's going to happen in someone else's lifetime. But man, it did. You guys are in like the worst possible careers for the pandemic to have hit. So I'm really happy that you have these things that you can do. It's super important, and we've learned this. This is why we do our podcast. It's so important to have something for a creative person, for anybody really, to do when the world shut down and when our options are so limited. And it's a pretty scary world at times. So congratulations to you guys for jumping in and starting your business during this whole pandemic. And that's what I read. That's the case, right? Like you started this officially during the pandemic. So what was the catalyst to finally make you just say, let's just make this official?
I would say it was, we were missing cosplaying. We missed building, and we knew other people were missing that as well. And some people don't have that skill or are afraid to try to create that skill to have outfits to like, I'm down today, so I'm going to go put a cape on and run around the house in a cape to make myself feel better. Because that's what I do when I'm not feeling good. I will dress up just to purposely dress up. To just bring a smile.
Great.
It's a great way to do it. Why not?
Yeah.
I usually dress down for that, but that's
No,
different show.
We get all the fancy stuff out.
That's way too much effort. I'm too lazy. But
I totally
love
know
that
what
you do it.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean though. Like if you're having a bad day or like a bad week or whatever, you know, finding an excuse to just like dress up, change your look up, or you know, do something a little bit different than usual, it really like just brings up the mood a whole lot.
It does.
It does.
Especially when you can swirl around in a cape.
Yeah.
With my luck, I'd get it caught on the stair banister going down and tumble down the stairs.
Oh, the fun of capes.
As long as there's video. As long as there's video, that's fine.
That outfit right there, not that particular one, but the wings themselves, I had to learn how to navigate escalators with them.
Oh, yes.
So stairs and cape, but yeah, no, that's the beginning.
The easy one.
You need to tackle that.
So let's talk about the diversity of what you guys actually make. And because there's such a diversity, I mean, you're talking about making wings and there's fabric involved. And I mean, there's so many different things that you do. First question I have is, where did you learn how to do all of this?
Self-taught.
Susan.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Either one.
Yeah, it was all my very first outfit was a toga costume pertaining to a character out of a book I'd read, and I'm like, okay, let's start with something easy. I tend to set my bar way up here and never start at the beginning. So that was my very first one, and it was just
You say a
learning how to use the
toga?
sewing machine.
A
Toga.
toga costume?
Yep.
See, I just think of Jim Belushi.
It was literally a white drape and a sash. Like that's literally what I had made.
Awesome. So you just made me happy because you made me think of Jim Belushi, and that's a great thought. I appreciate it. So anyway, it went from a toga to wings.
Yeah. In the span of what, 10 years? I think.
Okay.
And are those again? I'm proving I read the notes here. Are those the wings that you put the feathers on with your grandmother?
It is.
There you go.
Yeah, I was in tears that night trying to get it finished. I started to work on someone else's outfit, tried to get like a whole team ready to go, and kind of bit off more than I can chew. And then we were at the deadline. We were heading to a talkathon, which is a bigger convention in Montreal, and we were leaving the next day. And I'm going, my wings aren't done. Like I can't go, or I can't at least complete my outfit. I was in hysterics. Woke up later. Grandma was up till 4 o'clock in the morning, finishing gluing feathers on my wings for me.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
so nice.
sweet.
That's a great memory. That's like a core memory now that you have of your grandmother. You always have that. No matter what happens, you're always going to have that memory, and it'll make you smile. So that's great. And you still have the wings too. So
I do. It's gone through a few different costumes, but yeah, still have them.
That's the great thing about cosplay. I depending, obviously, I know I've got a friend that does very period costumes. So they're stuck. They can't reuse a lot of things because a stitch is different or something. But if you've got costumes that you can repurpose pieces for, that's awesome and reuse them. So yeah.
I'm just trying to find the photos from when I went to the anime place, and there was this one shot of. See if I can share this with you here.
And Brian, was this Anime North that you're talking about?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm again as a newbie. I don't remember. It was in Toronto. It was at the international.
Most likely anime.
Yeah, that's Anime North. That's the convention center.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's the CTV. Yep.
Yeah.
It was.
We know that.
Do you know who these people are? Would you recognize?
No.
Okay. Well,
I could just recognize the building.
Yeah, the feathers look cool.
I posted the photo, and they did reach out to me, and we've been in contact since. So it's amazing detail, and that's what really impressed me. And it was really these folks here that got me first interested in wanting to talk to somebody like yourselves who could do this kind of work. So what is involved? Like when you make wings, what kind of structure and how do you like? Are we talking about? You've taken metal rods and built the whole thing, or are they actual angel wings? Did you kill an angel and take their wings? Like that's what I want to know.
No.
Please say you didn't kill the angel.
Nothing that dramatic.
Nothing good comes from that at all.
No, if anything, I portray characters that are angels. Half of my avatars all have like angel wings in the background. That's made out of PVC piping and a plastic framework. Like
unplug the headphones.
All connected. Yoink.
Yeah.
I've done that. And now that I'm wireless, this is going to be interesting.
Harness, and then I don't know if I can actually swing it around.
I was going to say, the mannequin's holding a lot of weight.
It is. These wings span quite far.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So it's literally got a back plate.
Okay. So the
PVC
gotcha.
piping. And then these strings hold it up. These will collapse.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
So you could collapse them and then have them sort of spread out where you want to, and
yep.
Wow.
That is really cool.
Sorry, I just don't want it to topple over now.
Oh, sure. Yeah, take your time.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much a lot of planning. when we go to something like Anime North, we start talking about designing and just fabric choices by September, and the convention's in May.
Okay.
So we
So
pre-plan quite far.
is that convention happening this year? Is it
June or
June?
July.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, ouch.
Okay, that's
That's gonna be
lopsided.
a little
Sorry,
warm.
that bugs me.
So have you started planning? Have you started planning for June or July, or are you going to sort of go
We're
something
not going
smaller?
this year.
Oh, you're not going this year. Okay.
Just with all the uncertainty of
Yeah.
everything right now. I live with my grandparents.
Okay.
And they're both immune compromised, so for my own enjoyment of going and knowing that I still miss it, I don't want to put them at risk.
Right.
So we're holding back, hopefully one more year, and then we'll start again.
Yeah, that's fair. Completely understand that.
Yeah.
Now, what you're
So
doing
we'll
though
stick
is
to our
something.
smaller stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You can stick to what your smaller things. You can stick to what you can do online, and there's other avenues that I'm sure you've explored that you could branch out into. So, what would they be? Actually, Melissa, we didn't really talk to you about where you started sewing and how you got into this.
I guess for me is my brother actually took me to Anime North the year after I graduated high school, and I decided to find. I guess I took an old dress and try to make into, I don't know if you know the character C2 from Code Geass. And that's the year I learned that if I'm making anything, I'm making it from brand new material from a pattern or making my own pattern, because altering is a pain. So
you had something else that you already had. You had your dress and you tried to change it into something. So you think starting fresh is the way to go.
Yeah. Because you can get the proper structure and get the shape you want without having to rip a bunch of seams out. Because seam ripping is a challenge, especially black on black.
Oh, no.
They're hard to see. So, but.
Yeah. What is that you have behind you there?
This one here is our Black Butler costume. That would be my Sebastian outfits. As I move that. Ooh. And we hand painted all the details, and I guess that one would be the easiest. There is gems on them all.
Okay.
And then hand painted, and I did kind of like embroidery stitched across the edges for detail for the edge of the gold. So.
That's so cool.
Wow. Yeah, very cool. Like it's the coolest looking thing hanging there on the mannequin. So
I enjoy showing it off.
So do you build costumes for other people, or do you just do them for yourselves?
Right now we just do it for ourselves, but eventually we would love to be able to. But again, we've got to learn other people's structures as well, because we're all not the same shape. We're all different built.
Yeah, so you'd probably have to get together and do proper fittings and so on, which really isn't too possible right now.
Yeah.
But
I think the first time I did do other people's outfits would have been my wedding. That I made tunics and my bridesmaid dresses and took my mom and my mother-in-law's dresses and made one.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Now, I see you do have an Etsy site up right now. Do you do a lot of work with the Etsy stuff? I think
literally just started. So it's just those 3 right now. We're learning how to write up the descriptions and take photos. We figured out photos is quite the challenge. The last time I did anything remotely selling wise was for jewelry. I made my own jewelry a few years ago, and they're a lot easier to take photos of.
Yes. But yes and
challenge.
No. I mean, I can tell you product photography is not easy. I certainly don't put myself out there to do it. I don't know about Aurora, but I don't.
Yeah, product photography can be very challenging. It's interesting you say that jewelry is easier to shoot. I guess it's easier because it's smaller and it holds a structure to it. But it's also very shiny, and as a photographer, you want to eliminate, shine and all that in jewelry to show like the full, shape of the item. But like now I'm just going on a photography tangent.
Yeah.
Here. I really shouldn't be. But yeah,
This
I
is what we
totally
do.
get where you're coming from. Yeah.
Well, it is interesting because speaking of that, Brian, you're right. The jewelry does hold its shape. Like having done many engagement shoots, you put a ring in a box or on a leaf or something, and it's there. It looks nice. But then you get to the wedding day, and you want a picture of that bridal gown without a bride in it before she gets dressed, and to get a good picture of a gown that's not on a person is hard, right? Because
It's really hard.
they're like, oh, we'll lie it on the bed. Okay, that just looks creepy. So now we're trying to do other things and hang it from creative places and whatnot without a bride in it. And I see the 3 cloaks that you had there in your Etsy store. You had on like a mannequin, so that works really well. Now I'm wishing I had
Mannequin
kept that
does help.
I had years ago.
But like we have the cloaks, we have various different ones. We have overskirts now. We had some just basic skirts, things to kind of feel festive and people can feel pretty in them and all that fun stuff, without being a specific cosplay. Because right now we're also worried about copyrights, right? So infringing on someone else's stuff, and then making a profit off of it. So we're trying to be designing our own characters based off of our fantasy interests. Usually elves and dragons and that sort of stuff, and take those elements and combine them to make something new so that we're not getting into that fun copyright issue.
Yeah, for sure. So now you get your inspiration from probably many avenues. What are some of the avenues that you get your inspirations from?
I'm trying to think. Like character design, I guess, would be like what we're into at the time. So like for Black Butler would be where we got the design for that one, but that was just for a costume. A lot of fantasy-based stuff, like shows, looking at the designs from all the different fantasy like shows and movies. I'm trying to think what other ones.
Our games, Magic the Gathering, D&D. It helps because you have those visuals that you can draw from, but then you could take that and change it completely. So something that started off as a basic cape, then all of a sudden, like those capes did not start with those sequins, didn't start with the painting, didn't start with any of that. They were supposed to be black capes with fur at the bottom. And then that's what we ended up with. So a lot of it is impulse for us. We're like, ooh, let's add this. And then we do it.
Yeah. Planning and extra design. That's really how we function.
But that's the beauty of being a creator, isn't it? I mean, you can do that. You're allowed.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like
there's nobody telling you.
Being a creative person, like you often go in with one particular vision on whatever you're trying to accomplish, and then you end up with something completely different, because we're always trying to like improve it, always trying to make it better. And I feel like there's so many modifications that could come along with something like that. So I think that's very interesting, and I do really think that's an awesome Black Butler cosplay there.
Thank you.
So awesome. And I've always been interested in like, going to Anime North for so many years, and seeing like these fully constructed like moving pieces in a costume. Like I could never do that myself. But like in the past when I've done Anime North and I've actually done cosplays for myself, it's more for just like the fun of it. For me, I've only really built things off of pieces that you were saying before, like you find a dress or you find something and then you try to like rework it. Because I don't have the knowledge of how to be a seamstress or something like that. I found it was a little bit easier to make modifications on something myself. However, it had come with a lot of challenges, and it didn't look obviously perfect when you rip seams out and things like that. But I think the whole thing is having fun with it and trying to create you know re-embody embody a character or something that you're a fan of, and just like experiencing it and being in the world of that, I think is just such an amazing thing. And I really like your idea of coming up with this company, because you guys are obviously very talented in this. So
Thank you.
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Have you guys done any because you said you just started your Etsy shop, so previous to the Etsy shop, have you been selling things before, like on like Facebook, Instagram, or at like cons and stuff?
Would have been a Christmas market would have been our first real show, I would say.
Yeah. And that was more like household stuff. So we were making rice hot cold packs, hot pads, bibs and blankets and like that sort of stuff, because we're a small town country area and we're like, well, is our stuff even going to go? Is there going to be an interest? What are we setting ourselves up for? What can we do in the meantime? So we started smaller with some basics, and then we decided, well, no, this isn't what we want to do. This is what we can do, not what we want to do. So then we switched our focus and we started working on cloaks. And from there, we added in the overskirts. And so we did do a market this past October with the different cloaks and different fantasy stuff. And we made some sales, and we're like, there is a market for this. People do like this. It's not just us being our geeky selves in our own homes. It's other people are drawn to it too. We just have to find that niche.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of people like Aurora says, she couldn't do it. I certainly couldn't do it. I think there's a sewing machine upstairs in my wife's craft room, but I certainly don't know how to use it at all. So when I think of a piece for a photography idea, it's something I've got to buy. So we've got a couple of cloaks. Like my wife has a couple of really nice ones that she bought at, whether it be the Renaissance Festival or, the one-of-a-kind craft show or something like that. But we've also got other ones that we're like, okay, so we want this one that's sort of like, if I say a Holocaust cloak, from the Princess Bride, nice big cloak, we tried to order one of those and off of, I'm not even sure where she found it. And it came in, and this Holocaust cloak might fit my 12-year-old niece, or 11-year-old niece. So it certainly will not fit me for the picture that I had thought about. So it's tough when you're thinking that. So the way you guys do it, you're making it to measure for yourselves, and that's awesome. So have you ever, you talk about customizing things as you go into it, but have you ever had an idea and you start on it and then completely scrap it and go in a completely different direction?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah.
So how does that work out? And obviously, like I'm looking at these epic wings that you've got there. How does that factor into a timeline or a deadline that you have to get it completed?
Well, considering the wings were started maybe a year before the actual convention I attended for it, the framework and that was started. It was ordering the feathers. It was over $500 of feathers. It was waiting for the
wow
shipments to keep coming in, and every time I thought I had enough, I had to order more. So it's more the ordering process, understanding the materials you need, understanding how much you might need. Most of the time, Melissa and I overshoot and we get way too much. Then we have leftovers, and it's like, well, we can use that next year.
We'll use it for this or that.
Yeah. It doesn't go bad. You can just kind of shelf it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I've got 2 shelves full of fabric right now, so I'll just keep adding to it. But for scrapping things, sometimes we had 3 or 4 cloaks that we were learning how to use fleece for the winter market we attended, and we'd never used the material before. But we thought it would be fun to do child-sized capes because we're doing the adult ones. Why can't the children dress up too? But then we went, but it should be practical. It's wintertime, so let's get the polar fleece going, and let's just make them comfy cozy instead of fancy. Yeah, that was interesting. I think we lost 2 or 3 out of the full batch, but I think we got like 16 out of them. And they're now at her mom's farm at they have a little marketplace type thing, yard sale there. So she's been displaying her stuff.
That's cool.
But yeah, we just cut our losses. It's like, well, that didn't work out. Okay, try again. Usually after some choice words and leaving it for a day, but we always come back.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that.
You just need to learn when to stop for that day.
Yeah. All right, it's time to stop for now and move along.
Yeah.
Come back at it with fresh
Pause.
eyes tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
totally.
gonna say, I think we had like just before the market, both the sewing machines were like, okay, we gotta take those in for maintenance because they were starting to pretty squeak. It's like, you've never worked us this hard. I don't want to work anymore.
See, that's the thing, though. I mean, I've done this before where I make a commitment that I have to run a certain workshop or whatever, and I'm getting myself all prepared, and it just feels like all of a sudden you're just never prepared enough, and everything loads on you, and then it's all just catch up, and I've got to spend every single waking moment trying to plan, and time, just you never have enough time. And like you say, with ordering everything, especially these days with everything with shortages, and I can only imagine that's an extra headache. I mean, you're not like a huge shop where you can just stockpile everything, right? So you got to be selective and make your smart purchases. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's also too keeping in mind seasons when we're buying certain fabrics. It's not always available. Most shops that you get it from, well, we got one type of satin one day. Well, that was the winter selection. Now you're heading into summer and spring, and totally different colors, different feels, different textures. And it's like, well, when am I going to get that material back? So some of it, almost all of our stuff is going to have to be almost one of a kind, if not 2 or 3 of one thing, and that's it, because we won't find it again. At least not the same shade, not the same color batch. It all changes.
Yeah, but that could actually add to the it adds to the uniqueness of your product at the same time, though.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So that way, if I buy a piece off you this year, if I buy a cloak, and then my friend sees it, Brian sees it, and says, I want one of those. When he orders it, his will be uniquely different. And it won't just be the same. It's not like walking in and buying a leather jacket from Danier where they're all the same on the rack, just different sizes. For you guys, you're going to have a very unique product, and that's really cool. I think that's really cool.
That's the way it should be, though. I mean, keep it unique, right?
Yeah.
We're losing Aurora all night. What's going on?
Yeah.
Aurora.
I don't know what's going on here. It just keeps cutting out. I think I'm having like poor Wi-Fi connection or something. So
okay.
That happens.
Sorry about that.
So I was gonna say, when COVID first hit, my nephew, my little brother, and I got together, and we started a weekly game night where we would get together. We would play Dungeons and Dragons. It's something I played in high school years and years and years, like 400 years ago. And my nephew is the youngest, and my little brother's 10 years younger than me. So it was really nice to get together and have this thing that we could do. But I was learning the whole time. Like, I was the stupid one, right? My brother's now an engineer, and my nephew is a kid prodigy. I mean, the kid's so smart, and they're teaching me all these things. And we're trying to build our characters at the beginning. And we started talking about clothing and what we're going to wear. And it's went down this complete night-long rabbit hole of trying to find the right outfit and the right this and the right that. And finally, I get my character all put together, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, I want these clothes. This is the coolest thing. I want to look like that. If I were you two, I could then draw it out and actually build it. Have you ever done that? Have you ever taken a character from your D&D games and drawn it out so much detail and then actually went ahead and built the whole outfit? Because that'd be cool.
It would be cool. Not yet. Hopefully.
I gave you an idea. There you go.
I did. No, when we started to do D&D, we haven't actually even really gotten fully into the games. We bought the books. We got the different materials we needed to start doing it. And then, as you said, the pandemic, and then we weren't able to really meet in person. And we've discovered, at least for Melissa and myself, we do a lot better side by side. So even though we have the computer screen and we can do stuff like this, it doesn't give us the same feel of accomplishing things together. But we got all of that, and like you said, it's a full night of, okay, this character and this character, and we're going to make this design and have this color scheme, and if you're doing that color scheme, can I do this color scheme?
I didn't go that far.
As you can see, she's got purple on right now, and I have my blue, and that all stems from D&D. We started our characters with those color schemes, and then we started basing off our first elven outfits is because we sat down and talked about D&D. Like what we have on right now is because of that. So
very cool.
There you go.
I've been playing D&D, like actually tonight or I guess this morning we had a D&D episode where we talked to a couple people on a D&D podcast. And I think I was saying this that week that we interviewed them, that I've always wanted to like find a way to like create my character, whether it's in, you know, like some sort of someone does the art for me because I'm not really great at drawing, or like find a way to make a costume so that I could look like that character, dress up like that character. And I think it's really cool that you guys have done that. You've gone and like, you know, made articles of clothing to kind of like match the color schemes of your characters. So super cool. What would you say
when we started it? We would actually attend our D&D sessions in costume, full get up, everything. Cool. When it really starts, cool. Obviously,
it's almost to the level of like live action role playing, right? With the costumes and everything too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you guys worked with like, I know that you started during the pandemic. Is the goal possibly to be working with clients like, say, Aurora, and doing a design of her idea and then building that for her to wear?
Yeah.
That would be fun.
It would start with like the smaller components. But that is pretty much where we want to go. We want to be able to create those individual ideas and talk with people about it, because this is where we get our joy. It's one thing for Melissa and I to sit down and plan things together, but part of being in the convention scene is the socialization, talking with other people about how they did things, what they accomplished, and to be able to share that with people who either can't or whatnot, to share that, give them that experience. It's like, you don't need to make this, we can make this, but you can have just as much fun because we can do this for you. So eventually
make sure you plan a good year in advance, right? So
yeah.
that you can get everything all
don't
put
expect
together.
You know, the full thing. The I don't have it out. I have Stormbreaker somewhere, and actually Melissa's husband helped with the lighting of it and the components and putting it together, and then we added the details. So even just getting a basic structure without the details, and then have someone else go ahead and it's like, you put your own personal touch to this. We can give you the framework, you can add the details. So things along those lines. It doesn't have to be finished. I find when we get going, it's never finished. There's always more we can add to it.
And that's true. People would want to put their personal flair to it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dangerous combination.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot
more
of
details. People... Let's get more sequins. Let's find more gems. Oh, we can paint this. Okay, tangent.
Ooh, shiny.
What was that, Aurora?
Yeah, I feel like that there's a lot of people out there who are like myself, intimidated with like the idea of creating something from scratch. You know, I think that's a really good business model, a really good idea to you know, make something that maybe doesn't have all the specific details, but something that someone can add to, add their personal flair or give you the structure for something, and then they can make it their own, right? So I think that's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, it is awesome. I think a lot of that creativity is spawned when people want to get into a hobby like this. They start buying things. As you said earlier, it was easier to make from scratch than to buy something and repurpose it and modify it. But I think a lot of people do that.
Mhm.
They get it in their head that I'm just going to buy something and I'll just modify it. That's all. I'm just going to, and at the end, it would have been far cheaper and easier to just start from scratch. Of course,
You
depending
realize
on
that's a
what
whole
that
can
item
of
is,
worms.
Yeah.
They never wanted to
Yeah.
open in the first place. Yeah.
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 Well, I've heard that from Melissa's story as well as Aurora's story already. So you don't want to modify stuff. Start from scratch. Let these guys build the core foundation of it, and then they can tweak it with their own little creativity.
Mhm.
I like
Yeah.
that.
So Melissa and Susan, I actually had a question.
Sure.
What is the piece that you are most proud of creating?
That one's hard. I have a few. I don't know. Part of me went, Helena's headpiece is one of my favorite. It was huge. It was pointy.
Mark likes pointy things.
Oh,
We had
I
to
loved
duck
it.
a
It was
lot
like,
when she wore that. We had
yeah.
to like dodge out of the way.
Wow.
I felt like I poked somebody like 3 times walking down the street wearing that.
That's awesome.
You'd think if they saw that, they'd give you enough space to let you do your thing. If I saw somebody coming at me with pointy things.
Group
If we
wise,
have 3 or 4 people, we have them span out and we literally create our own path because it's like, all right, we're on a mission, we're going. And
yeah.
they do clear out of the way. Or they surround us and we can't move. One or the other.
Then it's picture time.
Picture time.
I love that about Anime North. I miss that.
Well, when it starts
I don't
up
know
again,
if I
I'm
really
definitely going to hit it.
Favorite.
I know it's hard because I love Sebastian as well.
Each piece or each costume, I guess, I have something that I'm proud of out of all of it. So UA, the most important thing, obviously, was the wings. I also reutilized those as a Gabriel costume from Supernatural. But then when it comes to like the Black Butler stuff, the painting and the sequins, it was interesting to do the full getup and the big cape, but adding those details in just kind of recreated it even more. When we do our Thor and Helena and like the Asgardians, there's like everything put together. Taking the time with my friends to add the lighting, to add the extra details, make it so that, you have this great big blue light that surrounds everything, and then you can turn it off at will. All of those pieces, like there's no particular outfit I'm particularly proud of. It's components from each and every one of them, because we had to learn something new. Every time we make a costume to its completion, there's another skill set we had to figure out how to put it together. Whether or not we're using heat bond Warbler, dealing with fabrics and textiles, learning how to do fabric painting. It's all new. We don't dabble in it all the time. It's like, oh, well, to get that effect, we need to do this skill set. And it could take us a few weeks to figure out before we even apply it to the costume.
Yeah.
I don't know. My brain goes instantly to like a TV game show. We had Paige Steinhardt, Forged and Fire champion, on as a guest. And like all of these things are basically somebody who's taken this creative passion and turned it into this, 1 hour long tattoo competition or whatever. I could totally see a competition where they give you all of the fabric in the world and they just say, here you go. You have 2 or 3 hours, build your best thing. I'm going to throw it out there right now. If you were on that competition, each of you, if you had 4 hours to build, I'm going to say 4 hours just because it probably takes a crap ton.
Yeah.
But if they gave you,
that's
let's say 8 hours.
And tracing and cutting.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8 hours, twice as long, and it might take a whole weekend or longer. But if you had 8 hours, what do you think you would attempt to try and build?
Oh.
I know. My brain goes to so many ideas that are probably going to need more than 8 hours. My brain went to
just to think of the idea.
I know. I bring one to Nicol Boltrus because I want the gigantic dragon wings with like the horns with the glowing emerald on the top from Magic the Gathering. I want to make that one day.
There you go. So forget the hours. That's the goal. Something like that would be.
Don't give us hours. It's just
Take the hours out of the conversation.
Yeah. Or
If you
we'll just give you 80 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
80
Unlimited
full hours,
resources.
you know.
yeah.
And no budget. There's no budget.
No budget.
That'll make us happy.
Wait a minute. Did we just commit to something?
No.
No.
I'm leaving the show now.
I'm still
Ryan, what have you started?
I know this is gonna be fun.
retired, so it's
Hey, if I win the lottery, I'm gonna make that show and let you guys do that because that'd be fun.
Yeah, I've never heard of anything like that before. Like the closest thing that comes to mind is like Drag Race.
Yeah, I was thinking RuPaul's Drag Race where they make
Yeah, but that's like a totally different thing. They are making costumes and stuff, but
Yeah.
they're doing other things too.
yeah, they do other stuff.
And
Yeah.
it's a different level of costume too.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
a
for
lot
sure.
more involved.
So Melissa, you said the dragon.
Dragon. There's a dragon in Magic the Gathering called Nicol Boltrus. And he's like a golden dragon. He has like horns. Are you looking it up, Susan?
Yes.
Oh,
Maybe
I could
it's
do a
just-
screen share and show
That'd be cool.
if you find it.
But I wanted, because he's a dragon, I wanted to make a humanized version of him with like having the dragon wings and the whole out armor. I don't have the sketchbook near me. I know I have a drawing.
She's-
Okay.
she's
It's
going.
all good.
That's like
I've got pictures. It's all good.
I'm just trying to think where that sketchbook went.
Cool. So when you
Yeah,
find
you
that,
drawing
Susan,
that
we
out
can-
while we're playing the game.
Yes.
And think of what you're gonna say as well, Susan, because we want to hear what you would do with unlimited resources.
Oh. We
Fully
have some
articulated wings.
fun. Yes.
Battery operated, metal
Nose.
alloy, fully articulated wings.
When you say fully articulated, like turning?
Automatic opening.
Yep.
And closing.
Mm. The mechanics involved in making that work would be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I found an image of what she wants to try and do. Oh no, it sent me to the card. Hold on. It sends me to the product cards whenever I do this.
Like,
Well,
that
you're
was-
trying to find that. Mark and Aurora, if you have anything left that you'd like to ask before we get to our questions, maybe you can think of that. And as soon as Susan's able to show us this, I'll do a screen share and show that. Because anything dragon, I mean, Mark's wearing dragon shirt. Aurora's wearing a dragon shirt. I've got a dragon.
And I've got
Dragon right here.
I've got
So we're
sev-
all good for dragons.
I've got several tattoos of dragons as well, so you know it's just always a dragon. Thinking.
I used
So
to
my
collect dragons when I was a kid.
my one question is, obviously you work in a lot of fabrics, you're working with sequins and paints and things. Is there a medium that you haven't yet made a costume piece out of that you want to make a costume piece out of a certain medium?
Real leather.
Real
That
leather?
would be
Okay.
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, my colleague Daniel
Yeah.
works with leather. He actually just. Oh, Aurora, you don't know this yet. Daniel gave his notice.
Yeah, you mentioned actually the other day when I called.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah, that's right.
wild.
Very disappointing because
Yeah.
he's going to do leather. He wants
Well,
to be building
get-
things with leather.
We'll get him on the show later.
Oh, I'd love to
Yeah.
have Daniel on the
And
show.
we'll bring Susan and Melissa on and they could apprentice under him or something.
Well, this is the thing. I thought, I mean, people
See,
could work
wait,
together,
this is-
right?
This is me over promising everything here tonight. This is crazy.
Yeah, you are.
Crazy.
This episode's
cow.
going to get costly, I'm telling you.
Yeah. We'll have to move further away than Thunder Bay to be safe.
Any luck finding that there, Susan?
I think I got it now.
Yep, you did. There it is. Hey, look, it's us. Okay, so now just click on the window you have open with the. There you go.
Dragon.
Whoa.
Oh, all right. So that makes
That's
that's a
cool.
better visual there.
Yeah.
You can
The
make that
shape
kid,
of the
too?
wings.
Hmm. And he like has the horns with like
The
orb in the
headpiece
middle.
and the gem.
Mm.
And he looks like he's built with armor, so it'd be really cool to make like an armored version of it.
And then you have to do like a negative magnet thing at the top so that gem just floats in the middle.
Yeah, make it somehow floating.
Is that a thing? Can you do that?
You could try it. You could use fishing wire.
Fishing wire would work. That's a good idea.
It's clear.
You got to MacGyver all kinds of things in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, we've got a few questions that we want to ask you before we let you go. And I've got a new question that I'm adding to our questions. Yeah, I know. We did mention to you that there is a challenge that we ask our guests. Our guests? Is that a word? Guests? No. Our guests to issue to our viewers. There's been a couple episodes this season that I've forgotten to do this, but yeah, we're doing that right now. So, Melissa, Susan, question number 1. What would the challenge be that you would like to issue to our viewers and our listeners?
I would say don't be afraid to try something new. And don't be that person that says, I can't do it. Because don't start those boundaries. Like, don't build that wall, I can't. Just jump in, try it. If it doesn't work the first try, walk away and try again.
Yeah, don't throw things.
Sometimes throwing helps, but then you'll pick it up.
It does.
Awesome.
It does. Personal attachment to that.
Yeah, but that's actually a great challenge to do. Just keep at it. Try something new.
To take that step. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Question number 2. What tool of the trade would you say you draw from or you use every single time you create? Doesn't have to be a physical thing. It could be a concept or an idea. It could be a physical thing. Like, what would that one thing be that each of you would draw from to keep that creativity going?
Each other.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Like, it's one thing to be creative and to like have inspiration from other sources. But we have found we can hit a stalemate pretty quickly if we're not actually sharing in the joy, in the excitement, building upon each other's ideas. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just, oh yeah, okay, we like this, we enjoy this. But if we really want a momentum and to express that excitement, it's each other.
Love it.
We work.
Awesome. Great answer.
Yep. Love it. Love it.
Okay. One other question is, what is your jam? What song can you not skip past that you love, that you listen to as often as possible, or whenever it's on, you just have to stop everything and listen to? What's your jam?
Oh. I don't know what
I went to Minecraft.
You went to Minecraft?
What was that? The theme to Minecraft?
No, there's a song. What is it? Dig, diggy hole. Dig.
Diggy, diggy hole. Digging a hole.
There you go. That one.
Digging hole. We listened so much in Minecraft.
Who does that? What is that?
Oh, I can't even remember what it's called. Yes. I can't even think of the song. I can't think of the song it's called that I had that popped in my head.
By Bird Thrower?
Bird Thrower.
Is that it? Dig a hole?
No.
No, good, because that looks weird.
No.
I think it's
Windrose. The company is Windrose, and they also dress up in costume.
Oh, Diggy Diggy Hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. We'll check that out.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Is that both of your answer? Or just
mine?
Susan?
I do love that song a lot, but the one that I end up thinking of, and every time I think about it, I actually have to go to look up Anime North cosplay page videos. There's a song I always, every time I hear it on the radio, I have to stop and listen to it because it is the one song that is off of an Anime North video that made me really want to go to Anime North. Other than I don't. know where I can find it right now. Is that the one? Be blasting loud. There it is. Okay, I'm linking it, and yes, it's Anime North video related. But I hear this and I just start dancing, and I'm like, I miss Anime North. It's like, I love this song.
What's it called?
I linked in the video. The video in the chat, but I don't know the song.
Yeah.
Alice in the Summertime.
Ah, there.
Every time I love that song.
Yeah, Alive in the Summertime by Tim McMorris.
Thank you. I'm not good with music. I just know the song and start dancing.
Welcome.
Okay, cool. So we'll share that link actually, because that is kind of neat, and it's filmed at the Anime North too, isn't it?
Yes, it is the video I found before I went to Anime North the first time. So it was part of like, I want to cosplay. This looks awesome. And now my new favorite song.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I'll have to give those. I just opened them up in different browser tabs. I'll give those a listen to after the show.
Yeah, me too. Me too also, as well. All right, thanks for that. Awesome, very cool. And the last question that I've just wanted to start adding to these conversations is something that I think is going to be important for maybe posterity, because I've just released the Day Tripper Photo TV show as a 10-year kind of thing. We recorded a TV show 10 years ago. I've just re-released it now as like a 10th anniversary. So I'm asking this question: where do you see each of yourselves 10 years from now? Because I'm in like the exact same place I was 10 years ago, by the way. So I'm doing the same things, but in a much more rewarding way. That's very good. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
I guess actually being able to do this as a full-time job kind of thing, and being able to create and, you know, sit with people and like people that have D&D characters that they want to make real, be able to make them real for them, because it's enjoyable to see somebody see a product and be like, this is awesome, and then see them run away with it. Super happy wearing it and just loving our creations. So
awesome.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Susan, yourself?
It's pretty much
she's like, I don't want to do that at all. I'm doing something totally different.
No, actually, when I first started Anime North, one of my other friends helped me with my creative ideas. Her team was kind of my very first introduction into cosplay, and doing group ones instead of individual ones. And at the time, we spoke then about getting into our own fashion stuff, being able to sell creativity and do it as a business. And that was years and years ago. Like that was, I don't even know how long ago. But then I got into a niche of, okay, I can do the jewelry. That was my starting. That's where I started, and started selling that. Kind of went, I'm in my comfort zone now. I know what I'm doing. I don't want to leave this comfort zone, because the end goal was supposed to be able to create fashion. And I stepped away from that for years. I'm like, no, I can't do this for other people, just for myself. And now I'm doing it for other people. So in 10 years, I hope I'm still doing this for other people, just on a grander scheme, being able to step out of my full-time job and do this all the time. Yeah, that's the dream.
Excellent.
That's awesome. I have one more question.
I hope you get it.
I have one more question
Thank
I wanted to ask earlier, but it just reminded me now. I hope you guys don't mind, Brian and Mark.
No.
How did you guys meet? I'm so curious, because you seem to like really draw like inspiration from each other, and you seem like a really tight-knit team. So yeah, how did you guys meet? So curious.
Grocery store.
That's awesome.
I
worked in the meat department. She worked in the deli.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And that's how I met my husband. Is he worked in the meat department as well, and our other best friend that was part of our cosplay group worked in the bake shop.
Wow.
Where is this place? It sounds like the coolest place ever to work. Like everybody likes each other.
Campbellford, Ontario.
Little town in the middle of nowhere.
Hey,
Where?
my favorite people, my best friends, are people that I've worked with at Henry's for sure. So your coworkers, I think,
Campbellford.
tend to be some of the best people
Mhm.
if you're there long enough.
Yeah.
If you get to meet
I
more
was
people.
there 12 years on and off. Tried school a couple of times and kept coming back home. And our other cosplay friend is my neighbor. So we are all very close knit. And then, as I said, Melissa only lives 8 minutes away from my house. So being able to see each other all the time when it's possible definitely helped be this close. But we also share the same passion. We share the same ideas. If one person is kind of down, we know exactly what to do to turn it around. And in other cases, it's like, oh, you have this idea, but let's.
No.
So,
No.
and it's been good all night.
I have this idea, but
There we go. That's the idea.
well,
It's like a cliffhanger.
I know, right? I don't know what to do. We were just going to end the show. We can't end the show until. Do we hear the rest of the story?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Melissa, do you know the
All
idea?
I'm not sure. I know her computer froze because she just Facebook messaged me.
Oh no.
Oh no.
We'll wait a couple minutes here, see if she can get
Yeah.
back in. Mark needs to
Tonight
have dinner.
seems to be a night of technical
It's
difficulties.
Well, sometimes we have this issue with technical difficulties.
Oh, this is what happens online. It's
Yeah.
we've been through it.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I do martial arts classes via Zoom with a martial arts school in Innisfil, and I was trying to log into a class at 6:00 this evening before the show, and it just failed to launch. Like 40 minutes, I was fighting with Zoom, and finally it was like, forget it. I'll walk the dogs up and down the driveway a couple of times.
Yeah. We play Minecraft together, and sometimes it just does not let us online to play together.
Yeah.
But, like,
Is she trying to
even
get back in?
game, she's trying. I think she's resetting her computer.
Okay. Oh, here she is.
Oh, ignore the last message then.
I think it's just loading up for her here. Okay, looks like Jeopardy music. Oh, there we are. Awesome. Welcome back.
Yeah. So, what was your idea? We didn't.
Thank
we didn't
you.
do all of it.
So you froze up right in the middle of your idea. If you just want to finish it up, then we'll be able to. Can you hear us okay? I don't think she can hear.
Yeah, I don't know where I left off.
Oh.
I
You
can.
had said that I had this idea, and then you froze.
I can't rewind it and watch it
Oh
back.
no, lost it.
You lost it.
All right.
Thoughts incomplete.
You're back, and we appreciate you coming back. Susan,
Yeah.
Melissa, thank you both so much for taking the time to be with us tonight. We really appreciate it. We wish you all the luck in the world, and I hope the COVID thing stops so that you guys can get together and get back into the anime world. It is such a creative world to live in, and just from the conversations that we've had with our previous guests, we split the party and yourselves, and talking to Aurora, and being only one time I went to the event itself. It was impressive. There were a lot of what do you call it? Picketers, not picketers. Yeah, picketers, like people against the whole cosplay world, which was really surprising to me. And we could probably go on for another half an hour just talking about that. But let's keep the negativity out of the conversation. Let's keep it positive. And I can't thank you both enough for being here. Thank you very much. Aurora, Mark, anything you'd like to say before we say goodnight?
I just want to say thanks for being on, and where can people follow you if they want to follow you?
We have our own Instagram and Facebook page.
And it's at Mystic
Dragon Creations.
Yeah, I think you gave us those links, Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, we'll share those in the notes for sure.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You're
Perfect.
welcome.
And
thank you
to
for
our
having us.
listeners, subscribe and share, like our videos. Share with people you think would like it too. And that's pretty much it for me.
Perfect.
Awesome.
And I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I love your creations. Love talking about dragons. I'll talk about dragons all day, so it's all good.
Dragons are awesome.
Best of luck in the future, and hopefully this world changes for the better for us, and we can start getting together in groups again for things like Anime North and whatnot. So it's
Absolutely.
going to be nothing, nowhere to go now but up. So it's going to be great.
Thumbs up. All right, guys. Thank you, Mark, Aurora. Thank you both as well.
Thank you.
And that's it for us. We'll see you all next week, guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.